They say age is just a number. But when you wake up in the morning and feel the stiffness in your knees, when the mirror reflects not just time but every experience you've lived through, that number can feel like more than just a figure on paper. It can feel like a question. A question that echoes silently in the minds of many as the years pass. Will I make it beyond 70? Will I still be here to see more birthdays, more sunrises, more quiet moments? The truth is, the possibility of living beyond 70 isn't found in miracle cures or perfect genetics. It's often woven quietly into the way you live, the choices you make without even thinking, the way your body and mind respond to everyday life. Longevity isn't a sudden blessing, it's a pattern that builds slowly, year after year. What's surprising is that the body often gives us early hints. Clues, really, subtle signs that it's not just surviving, but preparing for the long haul. These signs aren't flashy. They're not loud. They don't show up in dramatic moments, but in small, quiet details. And they often go unnoticed until someone connects the dots. That's what we're here to do today, connect the dots. This video will walk you through 7 powerful signs that suggest you might just have what it takes to not only reach 70 but thrive well beyond it. These aren't vague ideas, they're grounded in research, real-life patterns, and insights from people who have walked this path and lived to tell the story. Before we go any further, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. If you're drawn to content that honors aging, embraces wisdom, and empowers you to live with clarity and confidence, you're in the right place. When you subscribe and tap the notification bell, you're not just supporting this channel, you're joining a community of people who believe that growing older can be the most powerful chapter of life. Now, let's begin. One of the earliest and most reliable indicators that your body is built for longevity is the presence of deep, nourishing human connection. You might not think of friendship as a matter of life or death, but it is. People who have meaningful social bonds, no matter how few, tend to live longer, healthier lives. It's not about being surrounded by crowds. It's not about attending every gathering or filling your phone with contacts. It's about connection that matters. When someone remembers your birthday without needing a reminder, when a neighbor waves at you each morning, when a friend checks in because they haven't heard from you in a while, those moments do something profound to your nervous system. They soften stress. They create a sense of safety. And that safety, in turn, lowers inflammation, regulates blood pressure, and supports brain function. A body that feels emotionally secure becomes a body that can last. But connection isn't only external. Another quiet predictor of longevity is the way you physically relate to the world. Movement, regular, intentional, but gentle, plays a huge role in the story of your health. Not everyone can jog or attend fitness classes. But you don't need to. What matters is that your body stays involved in your life. Washing your own dishes, taking slow walks through your neighborhood, planting flowers in the spring, these simple actions tell your body that it's still needed. That it still has work to do. Movement keeps the muscles alert, the circulation flowing, the joints flexible. It engages your senses and keeps the mind connected to the present. People who move consistently, even in small ways, often age more gracefully than those who stop engaging with their physical environment. These 2 indicators, deep connection and daily movement, form a strong foundation. They don't promise immortality, but they do suggest resilience. They suggest that your body and mind are still aligned, still willing to push forward, still able to adapt and recover. And in the story of aging, resilience is everything. As we continue, we'll explore more signs, some you may have never considered, others you may already recognize within yourself. Each one adds a layer to the picture of long life. If you're still with us, it means you're curious about your own journey, your own possibility. And that curiosity itself? That's a powerful sign, too. There's a quiet kind of strength in those who age with grace. Not the kind of grace that comes from cosmetics or charm, but the deeper kind, the one built on self-awareness, discipline, and a consistent sense of purpose. And often, that strength is reflected in how a person approaches their health, not just with treatment, but with prevention. Another strong predictor of life beyond 70 is how a person responds to their own body's signals. People who live long tend to be tuned in. They notice the small things, a change in appetite, a new ache, a subtle shift in energy. And instead of ignoring those signs, They respond with care. They make adjustments. They take rest seriously. They follow up when something feels off. That level of attentiveness might not seem remarkable in the moment, but it speaks volumes over time. Longevity isn't just about dodging illness. It's often about catching things early, adapting quickly, and respecting the body's limits. People who treat their body like a conversation, one where they listen as much as they speak, tend to navigate the later years with fewer surprises. They work with their health, not against it. But the body is only part of the story. The mind plays just as critical a role, and often, it's what determines whether a person ages well or simply ages. One of the lesser-known but highly influential predictors of long life is mental flexibility. The ability to adapt when plans change. The willingness to let go of rigid expectations. The openness to learning something new, even later in life. There's something remarkable about a person in their 70s or 80s who's still curious, someone who picks up a new hobby, learns how to use a new device, or explores a new idea. That curiosity isn't just charming. It's protective. It keeps the neural pathways active, it boosts memory, and it even slows cognitive decline. A mind that refuses to shut down becomes a mind that stays alive in every sense of the word. Mental flexibility also plays into emotional health. People who make it past 70 often show a pattern of releasing resentment. They don't carry old bitterness for years. They've learned how to let things go, how to forgive, not always for the other person's sake, but for their own peace. That emotional unburdening reduces stress, improves sleep, and protects the heart. Resentment is heavy, but people who live long tend to travel light. Equally important is the way these individuals handle uncertainty. Life after 60 is rarely predictable. Loved ones pass away. Health takes unexpected turns. The world around them changes. But instead of resisting that change, they adapt. They find new rhythms. They rebuild routines. They may mourn deeply, but they also find new ways to connect with life. That quiet resilience is not loud or dramatic. It's often understated, but it's there, holding everything together. And then there's purpose. While it may sound abstract, purpose is one of the most measurable predictors of a longer life. Those who have a reason to wake up in the morning, a pet to care for, a garden to tend, a child to mentor, tend to live longer and feel more fulfilled. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just needs to feel real. People who have even a small sense of duty, a task that matters to them, often show greater vitality and lower rates of depression. There's something life-giving about being needed. Even when age takes away certain roles, those who continue to find meaning in daily life, through community, creativity, spirituality, or service, tend to thrive longer. Their days are not just filled with time, but with intention. And that makes all the difference. These qualities, attentiveness to health, mental flexibility, emotional resilience, and a quiet sense of purpose, aren't just admirable traits. They are signals. Signs that the journey doesn't end at 70. In many cases, it evolves. It deepens. As we move forward, we'll explore more. There are still layers to uncover, simple truths that reveal how longevity isn't a mystery, but often a pattern. A pattern that might already be present in your life, just waiting to be noticed. There comes a point in life when survival alone is no longer the goal. The question shifts from will I live long? To will I live well? Longevity without vitality is merely existence. But the people who make it far beyond their 70s, the ones who still light up a room, who still move with intention and carry presence, often share a deeper kind of rhythm in the way they live. One of the more surprising traits shared by those who age well is their relationship with time itself. They don't race against it. They don't live in regret of the past or constant fear of the future. Instead, they engage with the present moment. Fully. Whether it's enjoying a morning cup of tea or taking in the sunset, there's a slowness to the way they experience life, and it's not born out of limitation, but wisdom. That presence allows the nervous system to reset. It reduces stress, improves digestion, supports heart health, and protects brain function. And maybe even more importantly, it feeds the soul. Because when you allow yourself to fully be in the moment, life stops feeling like something to endure, and starts feeling like something to savor. Another quiet marker of longevity lies in how a person deals with solitude. Not just being alone, but being okay in that aloneness. There's a stark difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness drains. It isolates. But solitude, when accepted and embraced, can actually be nourishing. People who live longer tend to find peace in their own company. They have interests, thoughts, and rituals that fill the space within. They don't always need to be entertained. They're not running from silence. That ability to sit with oneself, to enjoy the calm, to process emotion without distraction is deeply protective. It fosters clarity, self-trust, and inner balance. And in a world that often pulls us in 100 different directions, that kind of centeredness becomes rare and powerful. Nutrition is another thread that runs quietly through the fabric of long life. And while diets vary across cultures and individuals, the common ground is consistency and moderation. People who make it well past 70 often eat with mindfulness. They know what agrees with their body and what doesn't. They favor real food over processed, simplicity over excess. Their meals aren't complicated, but they are intentional. What's fascinating is that many of them don't follow trends. They don't obsess over macros or count calories. They simply eat in a way that supports their energy and respects their body's needs. Food becomes fuel, not fixation. A source of nourishment, not stress. And then there's sleep. Quiet, often ignored, but absolutely vital. People who live long tend to have healthy sleep habits, not perfect, but consistent. They honor rest as essential, not optional. They build rhythms that support deep, restorative sleep, whether that means winding down early, keeping the room dark, or maintaining a peaceful nighttime routine. It may seem like a small thing, but night after night, year after year, good sleep becomes a foundation for every other system in the body. All of these behaviors, being present, finding peace in solitude, nourishing the body without stress, and honoring rest, form an invisible structure. You may not see it on the outside. But inside, it's protecting the heart, stabilizing the mind, strengthening the immune system. These are not grand gestures. They are small acts of self-respect, repeated over time. And perhaps that's the greatest secret to aging well, the accumulation of small, steady choices. The kind of choices that don't feel urgent, but add up in silence. There's no single magic answer to living beyond 70. But there are countless quiet indicators, clues hidden in your routines, your thoughts, your relationships, that reveal your body's intention to keep going. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything right. But if you recognize even some of these patterns in your life, it may mean your story has many more chapters left to unfold. The final part of this journey is ahead. And in it, we'll bring everything together, and share the last insight that ties it all into something more than just longevity. Something that feels like legacy. Now that we've explored the signs, those subtle but powerful indicators that suggest a life beyond 70 might not only be possible, but rich with vitality, it's time to reflect on the greater truth behind longevity. Because while we've talked about connections, movement, emotional resilience, and purpose, there's one more thing that holds it all together: perspective. How you see the world, how you understand your place within it, can make or break your ability to truly thrive as you age. People who live well beyond their 70s don't view their later years as a time of decline or waiting. Instead, they see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to continue contributing, to evolve, to experience life in a deeper, more meaningful way. They don't expect to slow down. They choose to grow. This mindset is transformative. It's not about denying the challenges that come with age, the aches, the losses, the slowing down. It's about embracing those challenges with grace, seeing them as natural, even empowering parts of the journey. The ability to reframe difficulty, to see aging not as something to fear but as something to navigate with wisdom, is what separates those who merely survive from those who truly thrive. And that, at its core, is the essence of longevity. It's not about avoiding hardships, but about developing a way of relating to them. The most resilient people are those who have learned to live with their challenges, to use them as opportunities for growth. It's a deep-seated belief that life is not something that happens to them, but something they are actively participating in, no matter their age. This perspective shift is powerful because it creates a ripple effect. It influences the way you approach your relationships, your health, and your passions. It fuels the quiet resilience that has been a recurring theme in this video. When you see each year not as a countdown, but as a new chapter to write, your mind and body respond accordingly. And then, there's the legacy. The beauty of living well beyond 70 isn't just about enjoying more time, it's about leaving something behind. It's about contributing in ways that feel deeply fulfilling. It's about being the kind of person who inspires others by example. You may not have written a book, started a business, or climbed a mountain, but if you've lived with purpose, if you've nurtured those around you, if you've been present, you've created a legacy that lasts far beyond your years. You see, longevity isn't just the gift of time, it's the gift of making that time meaningful. People who live long and well don't count the years, they make the years count. It's about the relationships you build, the experiences you embrace, the wisdom you pass down, and the energy you share with the world. In the end, the signs of longevity aren't just indicators of how long we might live. They are a roadmap to living better. They remind us that thriving isn't about staying young, it's about staying connected. It's about honoring the body and mind, accepting life's natural rhythm, and embracing every chapter with open arms. As we close, I want you to reflect on this. The journey doesn't end at 70. If anything, that's where the real adventure begins. The potential for growth, joy, and connection is limitless, as long as we continue to see life as something to be engaged with, cherished, and lived fully. If you're finding inspiration in these ideas, I invite you to subscribe, like, and share this video with others who might need a reminder that aging isn't something to fear, it's something to celebrate. And remember, each year you live is another opportunity to live better, to live fully, and to live with intention. Because you're not just aging, you're growing. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Until next time, keep living well, keep thriving, and keep embracing the beauty of every stage of life.